Hello, let me introduce myself again for the new people. My name is Dr. Christian Seberino of Phil4. I provide math, physics, and computer programming classes as well as tutoring. My website is phil4.com. My email address is info@phil4.com. Both my website and my email address appear at the bottom of the screen. Now, in this video series, I'm discussing the math portion of the SAT. Right now, I'm focusing just on geometry, okay? If you need more help, or if you'd like tutoring, I also offer an SAT math prep class. Please see my website for more information about that if you are interested. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is run through some basic vocabulary you'll need. Okay, so points, what are those? Points are positions in space. Lines are special sets of points. A line, you get a piece of a line when you draw with a pen or pencil on a piece of paper. All right? Now, lines are infinitely long by definition. Okay? If you are talking about a finite piece of a line, a portion of a line, that is referred to as a line segment. Okay? Angles. Angles refer to the openings you get from intersecting lines or intersecting line segments. Degrees. Degrees are how we measure the sizes of angles. If you take a pizza, you imagine slicing a pizza into 360 pizza slices, all of the same size. Each of those pizza slices will have an angle of 1 degree. Okay? If you imagine slicing a pizza into 4 equal slices, each of those slices will have an angle of 90 degrees. If you imagine slicing a pizza into 2 equal slices, each of those slices will have an angle of 180 degrees. And finally, an entire pizza or an entire circle is associated with an angle of 360 degrees. Okay? More vocabulary words. Congruency, that refers to that's a property of two geometric figures, two geometric objects having the same size and shape. Perimeters, that refers to the length to walk around the edge of a two-dimensional object or shape or figure. All right. Areas, that refers to the amount of space a two-dimensional figure or shape takes up. Volumes, that refers to the space a three-dimensional figure takes up. Right angles, that refers to an angle with a measure of 90 degrees. Vertical angles, now imagine intersecting lines forming angles. There will be 4 angles and there will be pairs of angles across from each other that aren't next to each other. Those pairs of angles across from each other are referred to as vertical angles. Okay? Vertical angles are always congruent. You will want to remember that. Complementary angles. These are pairs of angles with measures that sum up to 90 degrees. Supplementary angles. These are pairs of angles with measures that sum to 180 degrees. Okay? Perpendicular lines. These are lines that intersect to form right angles. Parallel lines. These are distinct or different lines that are in the same direction. Okay? They do not intersect. Bisectors. There are 2 types of bisectors. There are angle bisectors that chop angles in half and create two smaller angles, each with a measure half the size of the original measure, and line segment bisectors that divide line segments into two smaller congruent line segments. Transversals, that refers to lines that cross any two lines. Let me now run through a list of some items that are given to you on the first page of every math section. Okay? Area and volume formulas are provided. The number of degrees in circles are provided. The number of degrees in the sum of the measures of all the angles of triangles are provided. Something called the Pythagorean theorem is provided. Also, side length ratios for right triangles of two common types are provided. Those two common types, the first one is right triangles with angle measures of 30, 60, and 90 degrees. The other right triangle type are right triangles with angle measures of 45, 45, and 90 degrees. Okay, I will talk more about these items shortly. What is not required? There are no geometry proofs on the SAT. Okay, so you will not be responsible for doing any geometry proofs. So that's good news. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through a list of topics one after the other. I'm going to start every topic by giving you some practice problems. As I said in previous videos in this series, I would encourage you to pause the video when I get to the practice problems, and you'll see at the top of the slide it'll say practice problems. Would you please tell me how are points denoted? And then how are line segments denoted? And finally, how are line segment lengths denoted? So please pause the video and try to answer these questions right now. Okay, I will now give you the answers. The answer to the first question is capital letters. The answer, as you see there, like capital A and B. The answer to the second question is two capital letters with a little line segment above, as you see there on the slide. And then the last question, the answer is two capital letters. All right. Discussion. Point and line notation. Points are denoted by capital letters such as a capital A or a capital B. Line segments are denoted by capital letters that represent the endpoints of the line segments. All right. And you also need to add a tiny little dash, little line segment above those two capital letters. All right. If you want to represent line segment lengths, then you denote those by just the capital letters that represent the endpoints.